Okay, my name is Lauren Johnson. I'm a third year psychology major here at UC, and this is my favorite brain part presentation. I'm going to be talking about the amygdala, and I'm going to be first talking about what the amygdala is. So it's an almond-shaped structure in the rostral temporal lobe, and it's part of the limbic system. It's near the hippocampus. Humans have two amygdalas, one in each hemisphere of the brain. It's responsible for the perception of emotions like anger, fear, sadness, etc. It helps store memories of events and emotions so that an individual can later recognize similar events. The amygdala encodes the emotions, and the hippocampus encodes the context. So the amygdala will register when something of emotion is happening, and the hippocampus kind of shows the context of if a person should be scared or whatever the emotion should be. So I want to talk about why it's my favorite part of the brain. For a lot of reasons, I'm interested in emotions and how they can be regulated. I also think it's really interesting to look at how environmental factors can change or cause how you regulate your emotions and how the environment and the amygdala interact. I also like how versatile the amygdala is and how it has multiple functions like storing, like helping with memories and the fight or flight system. So, and I want to go over a quick little thing about what happens to the amygdala when it's damaged. So, there's problems with memory functioning, sensitivity to emotions, trying to learn and remember, controlling and processing fear, problems with depression and or sadness. And I just wanted to put this in here to show that the amygdala does have more than one function, and it's not just about processing fear. It's for memory functioning, sensitivity, and the other things. So, whoops, I went the wrong way, my bad. The focus point that I'm going to be talking about is fear. What is fear? It's an unpleasant feeling triggered by the perception of danger, whether it's real or imagined. Fear reactions start in the brain and they spread throughout the entire body. So it's kind of for like the defense system. It's like the flight reaction, and fear response starts in the brain, called in the amygdala area of the brain. This area is best at detecting emotional salience of the stimuli and how much something stands out to us. So the amygdala will activate whenever we see a human face with an emotion, and this reaction is pronounced more with anger and fear. And once the amygdala is set off, it'll lead to bodily changes that prepare us for more efficiency and danger. So, like, our brain becomes more hyper alert, our pupils dilate, breathing accelerates, heart rate and blood pressure rise, blood flow and stream of glucose increase in organs that are not vital. So, and survival will slow down. So, and the other thing I wanted to point out with fear is fear and how it can be involved in anxiety and anxiety disorders. So, fear and anxiety aren't the same. Fear is often right in that moment, something you're afraid of right in that very second, and afterwards it fades away. Anxiety is more about future problems, like people thinking about school or like what they're gonna do with their like as a job. That causes more like actual anxiety and not fear. There's also an interesting relationship between the amygdala and anxiety. I found a peer-reviewed chapter. It's called "The Role of the Amygdala in Anxiety Disorders." It's written by Gina Foster and a couple other people. And this is a quote that says, "Fear can be considered a negatively balanced emotion that is brief, focused on the present, occurs in situations of specific threat, and aids in avoidance or escape. Anxiety, on the other hand, is a negatively balanced emotion and is characterized by sustained hyperarousal or in response to uncertainty. This feature focused and aids in defensive approach or risk assessment." And also they said, "Study suggests an important role for the amygdala and subregions within the amygdala in mediating fear and anxiety and in the manifestation of anxiety disorders. They did a study with college students who scored in the upper 15th percentile for trait anxiety, and they show that greater amygdala reactivity to emotional faces as compared to students who scored in the normative range, suggesting that anxiety-prone individuals have a greater amygdala reactivity. I find this super interesting because I know a lot of people who have dealt with anxiety disorders, and it's cool to see how it's not just like some imaginary thing that we're going through. Like, our brain really does change and is different for each person. And that is my presentation. I really hope you enjoyed and found some new information. Here are my sources if you'd like to take a look at them. They're really interesting. And yeah, thanks so much.